Week 5 of the NFL's in the books. We have our first coaching firing of the season, and we're going to be looking on to week 6 as the buys are now here. What's crack-a-lacking? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up. Enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Let's have this a beautiful football discourse. Don't know if I'm going to do a mock draft tomorrow. I feel like I might do a mock draft tomorrow because now the draft order is very interested. But let's go ahead, get into the power rankings, and we'll get into our predictions later in the video as we have a new bottom feeder here at 32 with the Carolina Panthers. Yes, they just fired Matt Rule yesterday, and Phil Snow joined him, which that made me sad. Phil Snow, I thought it was a very good defensive coordinator. He did a good job of developing some of the guys on his roster. He's very good in terms of fitting his scheme to his players rather than, finding players that fit his scheme. And that's going to be missed. At this point, the Panthers, they're looking into the future. I expect there will be no longer any fluctuation with who's team 32. I think the Panthers are going to be there, and they're going to be there for a while. The Houston Texans, they move up a spot with a big win, their first win of the season. Congratulations. As they went on and beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. The defense played very impressively. Neither offenses looked good in that game, and they forced a lot of mistakes on Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence didn't have a good game this time around. Still don't think the Texans are good, but they're good. They're a team that's going to be competitive. They're going to play hard for their coach, but I think they're going to eat a lot of L's along the way. The Bears, they move up a spot because they have 2 wins, and it didn't feel right moving the Texans past the Bears, even though I do think they might be a better team than the Bears, but the Bears did beat them a few weeks back. So the Bears sit here. The offense looked bit better. Like the running game couldn't get going unless it was like design runs with Justin Fields, and it's just like this team just still doesn't feel all that good. We'll see them again Thursday night as they take on the Commanders. Speaking of which, the Commanders just one spot ahead of them. They're not moving. They took an L this week to the Tennessee Titans, and honestly, not like they're playing all right football. It's not like they're not awful. The defense ain't great though, and on top of that, you know what? Whoever wins between the Bears, Commanders can own this 29 spot. And then at 28, we had Jared Goff and that high octane offense. Oh man, that same high octane offense that some of you Detroit fans tell me about when I draft a quarterback for the Detroit Lions, and you're like, you're wrong. You need to address the defense because rookies make a difference on the defense. Yeah, no, they got shut out. They got railroad. I know they were missing DeAndre Swift. I know they were missing Amon-Ra St. Brown. Still, you got a middling quarterback that you're going to cut at the end of the year because it's going to free up $21 million going into 2023. You're going to then be able to turn that into some good defensive talent to bring in, and then you draft a quarterback. That's smart. That sounds strategy. I don't care what anyone else says as long as this quarterback class still looks better than 2022. I think quarterback is ideally the spot for the Lions, but they got shut out against the Patriots. They ain't moving. Steelers, they're not movers either as they got destroyed, demolished, just annihilated by the Buffalo Bills. But many teams have gotten annihilated by the Buffalo Bills, not the Miami Dolphins. Fins up, baby, fins up. That's about the only thing I feel good about as a Dolphins fan, as we'll talk about them a little bit later. But yeah, Steelers, this was a rough debut. You would say this is Kenny Pickett's first time starting for the Steelers. Didn't go all that well. On top of that, defense, I guess they did what they could, right? So rough start for the Steelers. It's pretty easy. It feels like this is going to be a team that will be below 500 for the first time in Mike Tomlin's career. And Steeler fans, I know y'all were telling me at the beginning of the year, it can't happen. Oh, come on. It's the NFL. Anything's possible. Seattle Seahawks moved down a spot. Didn't feel like a move, even though I was extremely impressed with their outing. I don't think it was right that Atlanta also arguably, should have had a shot at that game against Tampa, if not for some terrible officiating on that what was that? The rough in the passer call, which then we saw another terrible rough in the passer call Monday night. So I don't want y'all Atlanta fans saying, "Oh, it's a Tom Brady thing." It happened to Derek Carr. Just Monday night, so it ain't a Tom Brady thing. But the Seahawks offense looks unbelievable. They took a big hit with Rashad Penny going down, but Kenneth Walker now gets the nod there at running back. And I mean, it kind of sucks they couldn't stop Taysom Hill, but I still think this is a team that if Geno keeps on this pace, that they're gonna be like a 5 to 6 win team. You can say the same thing about Atlanta. I feel good about them going forward. I think the defense and the offense are overachieving for Atlanta. So two teams that me myself included, thought would be like the worst and second worst team in the league. They're not playing like it. They're playing good football. All right, let's get to the next part of the list, which we're here with the Las Vegas Raiders. You had a chance to start a game, said you went for the win, went for the 2-point conversion, and I don't mind that. I don't think it was a bad call. And then you had a chance to drive down the field and win it with a field goal. Never got that chance to actually take the field goal as on 4th down. You had Devontae Adams and Renfro run into each other on a route that the ball was easily going to go to Devontae Adams if they didn't run into each other on a long ball. We don't know what will ever happen. It was honestly really good defense by the Chiefs as they jammed Adams at the line. It caused the timing of the routes to be off, as I think Hunter Renfrow was supposed to be there to kind of like cause a little dysfunction with whoever was guarding Adams. This was solely designed for Adams, and the timing got knocked off because of the good defense at the line of scrimmage. So Raiders, tough loss, very winnable game there, but moved y'all down a spot because, again, some other teams came in and handled business and got wins. But Cleveland Browns, man, I'm guessing they just play everybody close. That defense is not looking good. They added Deion Jones. There we go. Deion Jones got him for nickels and dimes, but that's not going to save your defense. Your defense needs to perform better. Honestly, the offense, I think, is doing a good job, and I don't think Cleveland's that bad. They moved down a few spots really just because other teams got the win here, so they weren't my biggest fallers of the week. New England Patriots, they went in, they won against Detroit. Detroit's not that good of a team. It was a win they should have had, and they did it convincingly. They're here at 22. Denver Broncos are in fact my biggest fallers of the week. They ain't who I thought they were, and I was willing to give them the benefit of the doubt going into this week, Thursday Night Football, and they somehow found a way to lose this game. Hackett ain't doing. He's just not making good play calls. Russell Wilson ain't playing that well. This defense is playing lights out. The offense needs to get it together. They took a big hit with Javonte Williams just a week ago, but they weren't playing him enough anyway. They were instead sticking with Melvin Fumbles Gordon. So, like, I don't know. I don't know what really much to tell you about this Denver team. Russ ain't cooking. Hackett ain't doing a good job play calling. So I guess we'll leave it at that. The team that did win that game was the Colts. I have them sticking here. The offense didn't look good. The defense really, I think, had a really good performance. Matt Ryan looks like he is 58. He can't move in the pocket, and that doesn't help. It doesn't help that the offensive line is not playing that well either. On top of that, they were without Jonathan Taylor. They were still managed to get the win. Hopefully he's back this week, but still, yeah. I don't know. What was I supposed to do with them? All I knew going into this was, like, I don't really like the Colts this year. I did coming into the season, not right now. And don't like what I've seen thus far from the Colts. And I guess all I could say is I have to put Denver behind them. The Saints, Taysom Hill accounted for 4 touchdowns. They had that random Taysom Hill day, and somewhere Sean Payton is smiling. The sun's a bit brighter, and he love him some Taysom Hill. Hey, they beat a Seahawks team whose defense isn't that good. They were able to withhold the Geno Smith experience we got going on right now. He's just been impressive. So they move up a couple of spots. You got the Cardinals. I move them down 2 spots. A very winnable game against Philly, and they just couldn't bring it home. There was some confusion at the end. I guess Kyler thought they got the first down. The scoreboard said they got the first down. Then he found out he didn't. So he had to spike it on 3rd down. Now it's 4th and 1, so they have to take the field goal as their kicker was out. So they brought in the guy that they brought in this week, and he misses it. It sucks. It's a rough loss. They could have pushed that to overtime. Didn't happen. I gotta imagine this team's gonna be much better though when D-Hop comes back, but still they're like barely, like I think a playoff contender. Biggest mover up. Biggest riser of the week are the New York Jets. They smashed my Dolphins. I know some of y'all would be like, you haven't listed the Dolphins yet. They beat a Dolphins team who was starting a 7th round quarterback, Skylar Thompson, because Teddy had they called it back issue, but also he was in concussion protocol for. Regardless, he didn't play the game. He threw 1 pass. Like. The Jets smashed because the Dolphins had no offense. They couldn't do nothing. But still, it's good seeing Zach Wilson play good football. Breece Hall is really starting to come on. So I moved him up. I still have the Dolphins ahead of them. We'll get to the Dolphins when we get to the Dolphins. But I feel like I want to take this 1 week at a time with the Jets. I don't want to overreact, and I feel like moving them up 9 spots is still pretty darn good. So let's move on to the next part of the list. Let's talk about the Jags first. Trevor Lawrence, man. Trevor Lawrence, dude, when are you going to look like a franchise quarterback? Like we see it in bits and pieces, but he's had 6 turnovers the last 6 quarters, and it's cost his team. He's lost to the Texans this week. They had a winnable game in Philly. Like, need to get it together. That team is playing much better, but it's resting on Trevor Lawrence. Can he develop? Can he be a bit more mistake free? Now let's talk about my Dolphins, who are 2 spots ahead of the team that beat them by 23 points. They don't know who's starting this week. Coming to this week, they have no idea. Is it Teddy? Is it Tua? Is it Skylar Thompson? They don't know. I'm just glad the run game finally showed signs of life this week. Hopefully, we know going forward what this team can be. Just they aren't that right now. So the Miami Dolphins, the 3-2. I'm holding on to hope that they can turn this around once Tua returns. The New York Giants, they move up 5 spots with a big win over the Giants there in London. And I know there's going to be a lot of Daniel Jones in the comments because I'm not the biggest fan. I'm still, for me, the jury's still out on Daniel Jones. I think, and you'd be like, oh man, he didn't even have like top guys like Kenny Golladay. But he didn't have like, was it Sterling Shepard was out? Wandale still wasn't active. But defense playing good football. They've really schemed up this offense to be very simple and mistake free for Daniel Jones, and that's not take away anything he's done. Like he's continually made the correct decisions. He's been able to move this offense when they need to. Saquon is probably comeback player of the year, though I think there should be a case made for Geno Smith. The Giants are playing really good football. They're really well coached, and I'm slowly moving them up. They get, I believe they get a bigger outing this week as they'll take on the Ravens. So Godspeed. All right, then we have the Tennessee Titans, who are now riding this like 3-game winning streak ever since beating the Raiders, and it didn't look all pretty against the Commanders, but they got the job done, and I'm happy for them. They look like they're going to be in the driver's seat of this division because the Colts haven't looked good. Trevor Lawrence is a mystery, and the Texans are going to be picking in the top 5. So they look like they're once again in the driver's seat of the AFC South after a week. But we'll see. It's going to come out to which team can play more mistake-free football or can move the offense. And I'd rather put that on the shoulders of Derrick Henry than Matt Ryan and Trevor Lawrence. Rams, they came out and they looked bad. Cooper Rush did just enough. The run game did the rest of the work. They had no answers for Micah Parsons. The offense of the line looks atrocious. The offense looks atrocious. I'm not ready to hit the panic button on the Rams, but my hand is over the panic button for the Rams. Vikings, they move up a spot. You should have beat the Bears by more. What is up with that? Still, they were fully in control of that game for the most part. And I guess, I don't know, man. Kirk Cousins, he's a mystery. Then the Bengals, they moved down 4 spots after a tough loss to Baltimore. And it's just this offense, I don't know what to make of it. I know they were down T. Higgins, but still, they can't run the football effectively. The play calling on early downs isn't inspiring, and they act like that the play action doesn't exist. You want to run the football. You run the football on early downs, but you don't take advantage of the play action. La'el Collins hasn't been good this year, and it's just offensively, this team has a lot of questions that they need to answer quick, because we could be talking about the Bengals not making the playoffs. We could be talking about both teams that went to the Super Bowl not making the playoffs. The AFC is a hard division. Godspeed. Now, Cooper Rush, man. 4 straight wins for Cooper Rush. He has done the job with the Cowboys once everyone thought they were dead in the water once Dak went down. And he was like, nah, not on my watch. He has been the perfect Band-Aid to while they wait for Dak to come back. With how this team has been playing, I want Rush Dak back until he is ready. The defense has been amazing. This defense is carrying the squad. Hello, Dallas Cowboys, you are in the top 10. Now let's get to my top 8. The Green Bay Packers, they dropped one against the Giants there in London. Didn't feel good. Offense still feels like and then the secondary looked atrocious this week. Their top 3 corners, they were targeted. Whenever they were targeted, they allowed a reception. What's going on? Rasul Douglas, Jair Alexander, Eric Stokes, get it together. I don't know, man. Things need to turn around for the Packers. They're just fortunate that the other teams in their division, like the Bears, the Lions, that they're not really going to be competing for the title for the division, but they are looking over their shoulder at a very scary Vikings team that they got talent. That when the Vikings game plan things, it works. It's when they get into the middle of these games, whenever it's not opening drives and 2-minute drills. That's when the Vikings offense looks most So Packers need to turn together quick, or turn around quick. San Francisco 49ers, they went in, they smashed the Panthers. It led to Matt Rule being fired. I don't think the same thing will happen with Arthur Smith this week in the Falcons, but this team's playing good football. They got a very scary defense there. Chargers, they move up, though it wasn't a convincing win against the Browns. The offense doesn't look all that different than it did last year, as they're really relying on guys to make plays after the catch with the occasional shot here and there. Defense is good, even despite the injuries. The defense is still playing decent enough. I wouldn't say that they're a bottom defense, but they're I would say that this is a Midland defense that has unfortunately suffered some major injuries. And then the Bucs, honestly, man, it felt, I'm not saying the Falcons would have won that game, even if the play isn't called, but even if the penalty isn't called, but still not a great look. But this is a team that's getting healthier at the receiver position, and they have Tom Brady. You can never doubt Tom Brady. And the top 4, this is the best group. This is the only group I consider Super Bowl contenders. The Baltimore Ravens, they went in, they got the job done, even though Marcus Williams went down in the secondary. Still, they were able to neutralize Joe Burrow. I almost said Joe Flacco. Joe Burrow and the Bengals. They got the job done. This is a good Baltimore team that, keep in mind, we're literally like a 2-point conversion away from beating the Bills a week prior. So we got the Chiefs. They had to mount a 17-point comeback against the Raiders. Must not have felt good, but they have Patrick Mahomes, and as long as Travis Kelce could have 4 touchdown performances, I don't think this team's going to lose many games. Even if he doesn't. The Eagles they didn't go in and smash the Cardinals. That was one of my better bets of the week, where I was like, you know what, I think I'll take the Cardinals 5.5. But the Eagles, they looked vulnerable. Like, offensively, they looked like they could be stopped. The Cardinals did a good job of doing that. It's not like the Cardinals know how to generate pass rush or know how to cover receivers. So the Eagles did look like, if you're standing from like the Cowboys perspective, it's like, God can bleed. He can't, though. Buffalo Bills, they're still, in my mind, even though they are not undefeated like the Eagles, they are the best team in the league. They lost a tough one in Miami. And I mean, that came down literally to the wire. They're literally Isaiah McKenzie being able to get out of bounds and get Tyler Bass on there to kick the game-winning field goal from being undefeated. So, yeah, the offense still looks great. Josh Allen looks amazing. I think they're your unanimous number 1. So let's go ahead and get to my predictions for week 6 of football. And if you want now, I'm going to keep track of my bets for the week. As you see, I hate over-unders, and you could see statistically why I don't take a lot of over-unders, but those are the ones I decided to take this week, and I fell, I think, just under 500. The Chiefs this week not being able to, like, I thought they were going to blow away the Raiders, and it didn't happen. And yeah, my spread, I think I was only 3-2 on the spread this week. But I did good on the money line. I did good. Like, going back and looking at which ones I got wrong, like Broncos, man. I was just a mark for the Broncos, I guess, this year, as I put them on the money line. I did call the Giants, taking the points with the Giants. I was happy about that. I was scared to I was scared to take the Bills plus 14, so I took them money line. Chargers, I took plus 3.5, and that was a loss for me. Honestly, like, my biggest, like, hey, called it last week. Literally, I said, hey, I don't feel good about taking the Dolphins. This feels like it could be a come down game for the Dolphins. And I said, don't just take the Jets with the points. Put the Jets down on the money line. Called it. What can I say? I know my Dolphins. But let's go ahead and take a look at this week of football, as we're going to start with the Thursday night game, because Amazon Prime's getting all the good ones here. So we have the Commanders against the Bears. And the over-under's at 35.5. And I'm not going to lie, I like the over in that game, but you do see my track record from last week, so don't take my word for it. But I kind of like the over in that game. They got them even. I think I go with Commanders here if I had to really pick one. So yeah, I think I would take the Commanders. Like, that's still, that defensive line's really good for the Commanders, and the running game, just the offense doesn't look that great. Like, Justin Fields, like, you need to step up. This would be a game where, hey, go and step up. But I'm gonna ride Carson Wentz and the Cardinals this week. On to Sunday slate of games, as we're looking at the Niners versus the Falcons. The Falcons are 5.5 underdogs, over under 43.5. With how good that defense is, I don't want to take that. I really don't. I'm kind of leaning over. You know what? Let's do it. Let's balls the wall over. I wouldn't take the points here, just with how good the Falcons have been playing this year. They did just lose by 6 to the Bucs. To be fair, like, they were down 21-0 early in that game, so it all came in the fourth quarter. So I don't really want to bet on. Hey, San Fran 5.5. feel good about that for 3 quarters than for the Falcons to come in garbage time and just ruin it. So I would just take Niners money line. Now we got the Patriots versus the Browns. Browns enter this game 3.5 point favorites. The big question is going to be who's going at quarterback for the Patriots. I don't have a lot of faith in that Browns defense as of right now. So let's see. Currently, it's still early in the week. Obviously, something to monitor. But currently at quarterback, they don't really have. They put Brian Hoyer on IR. Their list, check on Mac Jones, see what his status is. They're just listed as out, but again, Sunday that can change. Even then, Bailey Zappi didn't play like bad football. To be fair, I mean they relied a lot on the running game. Does that still persuade me to? Because the Browns have been in extremely close games. You know what? I think let's do this. Let's take this underdog. First underdog we're taking in today's video. We're gonna go with the Patriots 3.5. The Browns, just how close they've played like everybody this season. Let's pull it up here real quick. Doesn't matter who you are, but they win by 2 against the Panthers. They win by 1, or they lose by 1 to the Jets. They beat the Steelers by 12, but I mean the Patriots did that by 8 points, I think, something like that. And then the Falcons game was by 3. They lost. Chargers game was by 2. So I think I'm going to take the Patriots at 3.5. Over under is 42.5. I'm not messing with that. I don't feel good about these teams. Kind of feels like maybe the under, but I'm not touching it. I think I'm allowed not to touch an over and under. All right, now we got the Jets versus the Packers. Packers open 7-point favorites. You think they might want to make a statement? This is in Lambeau. So this could be a prime game where they go out and they handle business. I'm not that positive, at least with how the defense played this past week. I'm tempted to take Jets at 7.5 or Packers money line. I think I'm going to lean with Jets 7.5. I do like that spread. Over under is 46.5 or 46. Oh, let me think this one through. So they put on 22 to the Giants. Let's say Packers get 24. I think that's likely, which leaves me with 22 points of space. I'm taking the under, man. I think the under has probably been the right answer more times than not this year. All right, then we got a battle between second in the division between the Jags and the Colts, and the Colts open up 2-point favorites. Do you feel good about the Colts? I sure don't feel good about the Colts. How did the Colts do last year? And I know that they had Wentz, but still, they had a loss at the end of the season against the Jags. Then they beat the Jags in November of last year by 6. That's still a good amount of points. Defense honestly could come step up. Man, this is a toughie, man. I think do I really go Jags? I mean, this one's at Lucas Oil Stadium. I'll take the Colts money line. I'll take Colts money line. 42 is the over under. Take the under. I'm taking the under. I actually feel really good about that. And given my track record, I'm probably going to be right. All right, on to the Miami Dolphins versus the Minnesota Vikings. The biggest question is who's going to be playing quarterback for the Dolphins. Minnesota opens 3.5. This one's going to be at Hard Rock Stadium. Over under is 45.5. I lean Minnesota. So I'm just, again, you don't know who's going to be operating under center. So I might just take Minnesota money line. And over under, the Dolphins are like what they were. Okay, let's say the Vikings score like 27. Dolphins 17. We're at 44. Gosh, Vegas is good with this. Let's go with the under in there. So we're gonna take the Vikings money line. On to the next game, Saints versus the Bengals. Both these teams need this win desperately. Bengals open a 1.5 favorite. Let's take a quick look at New Orleans, see if we got any word on Jameis Winston. Doesn't look like it. This is a team that's real beat up. Maybe they get Michael Thomas back. Maybe. We know Chris Olave exited the game a little bit beat up. But sounds like he felt better after the game. I feel like the Bengals have to win this one, even if it's Andy Dalton. But the Saints, man, they have a knack just staying in these. So I think I'm going to go Bengals money line. Over unders 43.5. I think this might be a defensive competition. Let's go with the under. I don't even want to touch the over under. Let's go with the under for the sake of it. And I'm gonna ride the Bengals money line. Even with that 1.5. 1.5 ain't bad. Let's go Bengals 1.5. All right, on to the Giants versus the Ravens. Man. This may sound crazy. This one is at MetLife. And it's not me taking the Giants or taking the Giants plus points. I would take Baltimore with the money line. I think Baltimore's the better team. I think they'll get after DJ. I don't think they have enough. The Giants will have enough offense to really contain, or they don't have enough offense to really keep up with the Ravens. Lamar Jackson's just a tough guy to play. He had a couple of bad misses on Sunday night, so I'm gonna lean Ravens money line. Over under. I guess I'm going with the under. 44.5. That's an interesting one. Then we got the Steelers versus the Buccaneers. Buccaneers open 8-point favorites. This is gonna be in Pittsburgh at Heinz Field. I'm calling it Heinz. It's Heinz forever and always. Catch up. Anywho, do I think Steelers get smashed by multiple scores? And it's not like I'm going. Regardless, we're going Bucks here. Question is, how good do I feel about 8 points? Over under is 43.5. I don't want to really touch it in this game. If I were, I think I might lean the under. I don't really touch it though. Who knows? Maybe Tom Brady maybe that offense explodes like the Bills did. And then we got the Panthers and the Rams. Panthers desperately needed a game like this. They desperately need a win. They're at home. It's 11 points. That's just far too much for me to take. I don't mind taking the Rams money line in this game. Over unders 41.5. Then again, who's playing quarterback for this Panthers team? Because Sam Darnold be good to go? Because hey man, Sam Darnold opened the year pretty hot last year, so I don't want to play with that. Where you at, Sam? Still not close to returning from AR or from IR. You know what? Take the Rams plus 11. Do it. They just lost their coach. Sam Darnold's not going to be there. Baker Mayfield. That means it's probably going to be PJ Walker. I feel good about that. Now looking at it, we're taking Rams plus 11. 41 points is the over-under. I'm not touching that. On to the Seahawks versus the Cardinals. This might be a shootout. 51 over under, man. Yeah, I ain't touching that. I really do think it could be a shootout. Give me the Seahawks. I want to freaking ride Geno Smith. This is in Seattle. Get the 12th man involved. I'm going to take the Seahawks +3. I like that. On to I was about to say the Sunday night game, but no. We got the Bills versus the Chiefs. They don't have an over-under, I imagine the over-under is probably going to be like 53.5. It's going to be in that 50-point area, maybe 55.5. I imagine that the Bills may open the favorites, but close favorites, probably like 1.5, 2.5. So as of right now, I kind of want to take the Bills. They're just playing like the better squad right now. So yeah, let's just do that. And then on to Sunday night, as we have the Cowboys versus the Eagles, the battle for the division right now. Both teams are 2-0 in the division. Eagles open the 5-point favorites. This will be Cooper Rush. So I think Cowboys, I think there's a legit chance Cowboys win the division. I really do. I don't think they win this game, though. I'm not taking 5.5. I'm just going to take Eagles money line. Tempted to take Cowboys +5, but you know what? Just give me the Eagles on the money line. Over-under is 42. I don't really want to touch that either. Then Monday night, Broncos versus the Chargers. And here, let's see who we got on buys. We got Lions, Titans, Raiders, Texans. Oh my. Anywho, Chargers open the 5.5-point favorites. I don't really like that, but do I feel good enough to take the Broncos away? +5.5? I don't. I think I would just take Chargers on the money line. I really do. Over under is 45.5, and I know the Chargers have had struggles on defense, but fortunately the Broncos have had struggles on offense. Don't think I'm touching the over under, but I am definitely gonna just take Chargers on the money line in that game, and let's see how we do next week. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing, and as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.